What's going on, everybody? If you can't tell where we are, we're in Happy Valley on the campus of Penn State. We got a full day planned for you guys. Make sure you stick around, check it out. Smash that like, smash that subscribe. We are. Here with Mike Gambino, head baseball coach at Penn State, standing here on the concourse at Medlar Field. Last year was your first season here on campus. We all saw it towards the middle and the rest of the season. You guys packed this place out. Talk about the experience here on game day, getting the fans bought in, what that means to you and this program.
I can tell you this, when we first took this job, Pat Kraft was our athletic director, Vinny James, there's a deputy, and he's our administrator. They said from the beginning that this town, the students here, the state in general, it's a baseball state. They love baseball here. They said they really believed that people would get excited about this. And I didn't really know what that would mean. But I will tell you this, man, what the fan base has done, what the students have done, they completely changed. It was the talk, when we were talking to kids in the transfer portal this summer, and when we have been talking to recruits, they're talking about the crowds here. And I mean, we have had, to be honest, I mean, the SEC atmospheres are some of the best in the country. We had a couple atmospheres that I felt like were SEC atmospheres that were, it was electric here. And it's one of the things in college baseball, game day atmosphere can affect two things. It affects the game.
Right.
Right? This became a really hard place for opposing teams to play.
Right.
And it affects recruiting. And it actually does affect wins and losses in two separate areas.
That's awesome. And what's your favorite part of game day here then, when this place is packed out? What do you enjoy doing?
I tell you what, man, there's a group of students that sit down here that they have a cowbell going, and they have, there are certain things that you sort of do and say at football games, traditions that have generally, from what I have heard, been reserved for football, for hockey, and that's starting to happen here. And it's pretty cool to see, and it meant more to our guys than you can possibly explain.
All right, Coach Gambino, standing out here now in center field. Brand new surface last year, a lot of renovations going on. First, let's talk about the brand new surface, kind of what that was like, that process getting it put in, and just how much that's a boost for the program to be playing on a gorgeous surface every single day.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny to go back to last summer. We get the job and we're coming in, and they're about getting ready to redo the playing surface, which is awesome. It also means our first fall here, we don't have a field on campus. So we had a little bit of craziness. We practiced off campus. It was 15 minutes away. It was our boys, I will tell you this, did an unbelievable job. We sort of made the decision, sort of day one when we went over to the facility. It was basically a high school type field that we're practicing on. And we said, hey man, we're not gonna make excuses for anything. We're not gonna complain about anything. There's no reason we can't get our work done. Right, so we talk a lot in our program about the difference between facts and excuses. The fact was, we're not on our campus. We got to drive 15 minutes, and it's not the best field and playing surface we've ever been on. Those are the facts. We're not going to allow that to become an excuse, so we don't get any work done. So that was last fall. The good news of that is you come out to this playing surface every day, and I will tell you this. I really mean it, man. There are a couple playing surfaces that are known to be elite around the country. Like Georgia Tech's playing surface is unbelievable. I will put this up against anybody in the country. It's pretty crazy to get the chance to come out and for developing young infielders, right? And there's a lot of fields that are turf, and there's a lot of advantages to an all turf field. I'm a grass and dirt guy, especially at a place like Penn State. We have one of the best turf management schools in the country. But especially for our infielders playing on grass and dirt every day and catching ground balls on grass and dirt, I think there's nothing better.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a grass and dirt guy too. So we've seen a little bit before we got started here today, a lot of renovations going on. Let's first talk about the hitting facility. What's the vision behind that, and what's that going to allow you guys to do from a player development standpoint moving forward?
One of the things that's pretty awesome, Pat Kraft and Vinny James have made a major investment in baseball, and you see that from resources across the board, including in the facility here, starting with our cages. So we will move into our new cages here within the next week to 2 weeks. It can be beautiful with a weight room, sort of not a full team weight room, but a 5 to 7 guy, pitchers be able to get their work in. I am still a believer in a full team lift, so I do like, we have a weight room that you'll see here in a little bit. We have 2 weight rooms that you'll see where we do our full team lifts. But guys can lift, guys can get their work in. We'll have the tech that we need in the hitting building. This whole thing, right, we're getting to a spot in college baseball, and everybody talks about the transfer portal and, pulling guys out of the portal that are sort of ready to go. We believe that we have shown as a staff in the various places we've come from that we can develop players at a really high level. This thing's going to be built on player development, number one. And that's how we're designing the hitting building, and that's how we're designing as we, the next phase. You talk about clubhouse, you talk about training room, everything that we're doing in here, and then the phase down the road as we build out another player development building. But we believe we can build it on player development. If we do that really, really well, the dog piles will happen. This doesn't mean that we're not about winning, but the way we're going to win is try to be elite at player development.
It's awesome. And last thing here, see the TrackMan up top. The data and getting those types of resources for your guys, how important does that become for, just taking that next step, and you talk about building it on player development? How important is tools like TrackMan for your program?
Yeah, it's critical. So the way I look at it, right, the data that we're using now, sort of the way I simplified it, it's like the next iteration of the radar gun. And what I mean by that is, my background's in scouting. I was an area scout, and at that time, you would have sort of the older time scouts saying, hey, you don't need the radar gun. The hitters will tell you if it's a good fastball. And they weren't wrong, right? The radar gun didn't tell you the whole story when that first came out, right? Data doesn't always tell you the whole story, but it's a critical, valuable tool in player development and helping guys. And I think as we prepare guys for professional baseball, they need to be literate as it comes to all of that. Now, for us, the way I talk about it is, I don't want the art of the game to get lost into the science of the game, right? So to me, I want to be elite at using our data, elite at using our tech, elite at using the science, and never lose the sort of old school, tough, gritty, competitive. Like, sometimes it's just about beating somebody else regardless of what the data says, and sometimes you just got to play a little bit harder or be a little bit tougher or handle things when things don't go well, right? So like, when we talk about sort of ethos, we talk a lot about gratitude and grit, right? So that's not going to get lost, but we also have to understand spin, right? And understand things that are going to help guys get better or help us attack somebody when we're coming up with our plan.
Yeah, the investment is certainly real here, and the excitement is for sure getting real here around Penn State. It's exciting times.
It's really fun to be around. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Coach Gambino, we're standing here inside of Beaver Stadium. The atmosphere here obviously kind of goes without saying for everyone who knows, but for the student-athlete experience, for being a baseball player, what does this place mean for Penn State and for your program?
Yeah, I think there's two sides of it, right? Like, we talk to every kid that we recruit. I don't want them to come here because of Beaver Stadium, because we put 110,000 in the stadium, because the atmosphere is electric, but that's sort of secondary, right? Like, I want guys that care about their academics. I want guys that want to play in the big leagues. I want guys that want to go to Omaha. I want guys that want to be able to leave here and have reached their potential on the field and in the classroom and as people. Now, that being said, and it's funny because Ryan Wheeler had told me coming in, he's like, I know you're excited about this place, but it's going to take you a while to really understand it. And I kind of disagree with him. I'm like, nah, I've been here a month. This is, I've been here a month. I get it. People are great. But when you're in here, it's not just about the 110,000, and the atmosphere is electric and they care, but it's also just how much this place means to everybody who's gone here, the people that grew up with this. That's when you really get caught up in it. And I've said this before, the first time I heard the stadium say "we are," you're like, oh, that's kind of pretty cool. But as you learn and understand what it really means to be part of that, that's when it starts giving you chills. It really, really does. It's way more special than you realize when you're not part of it. And and I grew up sort of rooting for Penn State, but not a huge Penn State fan. And I hadn't been here, but now when you're here for a year, it's really, really, really a special place, and the campus is great, you know. But when you think about this, ultimately, this building, a building's a building, right? Like Beaver, it's about the people and how much they care about the program, the whole athletic department, the whole university. That's what makes the thing so special. And again, that's what makes you realize when you're part of this and you hear them say we are, it's just different.
We're now joined by Ryan Wheeler, Director of Program Development here at Penn State, aka Mr. Everything, also affectionately known as Wheels, one of the best in the industry. We're standing here in the weight room now. Talk a little bit about how important the weight room is for the program and the development of the guys.
Sure. I mean, it's critical. You know, it's a long season, and these guys got to be at their top or peak performance, you know, all year long. So the work that they do in here really, you know, carries them through the entire year, and is just important for their overall player development.
Yeah. This space is beautiful. A lot of stuff going on. But is our understanding part of the renovation is getting a new weight room?
Correct.
What's kind of the vision of the new weight room, and how you're going to tie that into what you guys got going on?
Sure. So, you know, this is somewhat temporary right now, but it's not bad for being temporary. But, you know, the strength program, you know, once again, it's an all-inclusive year-round program that is set up for our players. And, you know, the new weight room is going to, you know, have all the latest equipment. There's going to actually be a wellness center that's part of that area as to help, you know, just the overall student-athlete experience and their overall wellness with saunas and hot tubs and cold tubs and massage tables, training table. You know, everything is designed around helping these players and the student-athletes be at their best and perform at their best all year long.
All right, Wheels, are now standing inside the indoor. Talk a little about how you guys utilize the space on the days when, you know, you can't be outside and you have to get pushed inside because of weather.
Sure. I mean, first of all, this is just an unbelievable space to have to prepare ourselves for the season. And, you know, with that being said, you know, if you look at the field here, we kind of work from the center out, basically able to set up 4 different diamonds to where we can utilize, you know, one corner we can be going live and having pitchers thrown to hitters. In that capacity, you know, we can have another diamond set up where we're working on offensive stuff, short game stuff with our 2 batting cages over here. We can have a third diamond set up where, you know, we're taking sort of full batting practice, and then a 4th one, you know, set up where we might be doing defense. So, you know, from an efficiency standpoint, we can get a lot done in a short amount of time.
That's awesome. All right, Wheels, we're standing here in the Morgan Academic Center. Talk a little bit about why this building's important and how you guys kind of utilize it and help the guys, you know, because student athlete, right? So it's important to be in the classroom.
Yeah, no, I mean, first and foremost, you know, the reason they're coming to college is to go to class and earn a degree. You know, this area is critical to allow them to, you know, balance being that student athlete, and, you know, everything from helping them navigate their schedule and set up their classes to, you know, helping us with missed class time because when we travel. All of that stuff takes place in this building here. You know, down below, we've got all the latest technology and meeting spaces and study spaces for them to come in here and, you know, get done what they need to do for the classroom. So, you know, having the advisor that works with our players pretty much day in and day out is just critical to their success off the field, which allows them to be more successful on the field.
That'll do for this episode of the Unofficial Visit here at Penn State University. Huge shout out to Coach Gambino and Coach Wheeler for letting us tour their facilities.
Make sure you smash that like and subscribe.